I was exchanging voice notes with a friend of mine the other day about how it seems like everywhere I turn, I just feel like people are divided. They're combative. They're on the dark side of things. And people just seem to be so far removed from being empowered. I see it all over social media because I spend a lot of time there promoting and sharing as a coach. When I want to engage and encourage conversation and positive energy, it feels like people don't care. But when there are things that are salacious or controversial or something mindless that requires very little brain power, people are interested in hearing about it and talking about it over and over again. So I want us as a collective of people, as a human race, to look forward to what's new, what's good, what's coming around the corner, to just take on a more positive outlook. And I know that right now, that's just not where people are. So I understand that toxic positivity is a thing. And I'm not talking about toxic positivity. I'm talking about what we can do to move forward in a more positive way, not pretending like the challenges that are happening in the world aren't happening or denying whatever life situation we're dealing with. But I'm talking about focusing more on the people and the things in your life that will make you better or that will improve your situation. So whether that's in your personal life or with your work, nobody seems to want to do the work to just rise above all of the chaos and all the mess. And I'm talking about the inner work. I know that it's hard to focus on self or to focus on healing parts of yourself or doing things that are going to better your life when it feels like everything around you is falling apart. The world is literally falling apart. I mean, let's be real. We're talking about genocides are taking place right now. Countries are on the brink of war. People are divided now more than ever, especially politically. You hear of the right versus the left. And I'm not going to get into all of the details of that, but you all know exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll hear about a school shooting, and the response is, well, where is it this time? And what happened? And it's just so common that we are becoming numb to it. And then the cherry on top is that the government just shut down. So I just want to figure out how we can move forward, or what can we do, or are we even ready to move forward? And as I was having this conversation with my friend, she reminded me that the world feels like it's melting. People want to escape. Escapism is a real thing. And people don't want to talk about things that are relevant to their life on a minor scale or like on a small scale and a detailed scale. But they want to talk about things that are relevant but not necessarily focusing on their own issues. So they want to talk about all of the things going on in the world, but not really address how they fit into that or what they're doing in their own lives because it's just hard right now. People just don't want to do it. And I completely agree and I get the sentiment. It's hard to be on all the time, to put on a good face, to force a smile if you're just not feeling it. I'm not a good faker and I do not have a poker face. I'm not one to mask or hide how I'm feeling. If I'm upset, you'll know. If I'm mad, you'll know. If I'm confused, you'll know. So I always keep it real. I just have no other choice. Like I don't do well with trying to hide things. But I understand that what my friend was trying to say, her point was that right now people are focused on things that affect the world and the people that they care about right now. And so it's hard to get people to see the positive in things when it feels like the world is burning or it feels like things are just not okay. And if I'm being honest, they're not okay. And I think we're just at a point where we want to check out of reality and not even deal with real life at this point. It's a very real thing. And I mean, it's been a struggle for me too. I'm usually able to pull myself out of a funk or a low mood by focusing on gratitude or focusing on the things that are going well. But I have to be honest, it has been tricky lately. It's just not working all the time. There are days where I have good days and I'm positive and I'm looking at, okay, this is what's great. This is what's good. Then there are other days where I just feel chaotic. I feel anxious. I feel nervous. I feel overwhelmed with just what's going on. So I understand that this is a real situation. So today, I just want to have the conversation. I just want to share some thoughts around escapism, what it is, how I feel like we are using it right now, and just the direction that we're going. I don't necessarily have answers for it, but I do want to talk about it because I think it's important for me as a service provider and as someone who is out here promoting business and trying to help people, just understanding like the makeup of what's going on. A lot of times people come to get coaching or want coaching to improve or to better their lives. But if you're not in a good mental or mind state, it's really hard to look beyond your day to day. So I want to talk about that. So before we jump in, please go grab your reflections worksheet so you don't miss any of the information. If you want to capture some notes on today's conversation, you can do that. So just click the link in the description below and you can download it. Okay, so I thought about why our go-to is to check out or to escape, when we really should be digging in deeper and looking at ourselves to figure out how we can change or what we can do to make our situations better. So even though the world around us may be burning or things just may be collapsing and falling apart, I think it's important for us to look at ourselves to figure out, how do I fit in this change, or what can I do, or how can I make a difference for myself and my life? Because I think everything starts with you. And then how does that change impact the people around me or the world around me? The only thing that we can directly control is ourselves. But it seems like we're just not interested in doing that right now because life is lifing for everyone. And no matter where you live, no matter how old you are, no matter what side of the fence you are on politically, no matter what your belief systems are, no matter what your practices are, no matter what your spiritual beliefs are, everyone is feeling the strain and the pain of everything that is going on around them. So it's really hard to ignore because it's just every day, all day, something's going on. So taking the spotlight from the daily stress of being out of work for almost a year, let's say you're dealing with that, or maybe it's you're barely making ends meet for your family, even with a full-time job. It allows people to be in a bigger conversation when they can escape. They can talk about all the other things going on, all the injustices, and the shitty situations happening in the world. That's real, which means they can escape from their lives. A lot of people become what I call thumb thugs. They use their phones to make us comment or say something smart, or they're internet assassins behind the thumbnail on social media. They post all their gripes and they air their grievances. But what else? You're bringing that energy, but what else are we doing to shift, to change? Like, are we adding to the conversation in a positive way? Are we doing something about it, or are we not? And I'm saying that rhetorically, right? Because I do feel there are people who are trying to make a difference. There are people who are not just talking, they're doing. So I don't want to discredit those people, but I think the message of those who are genuinely trying to help, genuinely trying to serve people who need help, the message of the people who are trying to help, it gets lost in the crossfire of the controversy. It gets lost in all the things that are happening around. For example, when I post things about life coaching or about self-reflection, about accountability, about inner work, it's crickets. Nobody really engages with those posts. Nobody really has anything to say. But when I talk about random things like pancakes or salsa dancing or the latest trending show, everyone chimes in. Everyone has a thought, a comment. And so I just find that really interesting. And sometimes I'm on social media a lot because I advertise my business. I post clips of reels to market the podcast, to talk about my coaching and just all the things that I'm doing. And I notice it in just regular random things just get more reach. And the things that I feel like I put a lot of thought, effort, and energy into, it just really goes unnoticed. And I was paying attention to that and wondering, like, okay, what is that about? And like I said, having that conversation with my friend, she was explaining, like, it's escapism. People just don't want to be checked in. They are checked out. The thought of doing work or working on ourselves or this positive energy, it's like people aren't here for it right now. They just have a lot of things going on in their personal lives. And so I'm thinking about this from the perspective of a coach and a trainer, because I freelance as a consultant and a personal development trainer with different teams. I facilitate workshops. And one of the things that I try to bring to a training is real life scenarios and examples, situations that can come up in real life, because otherwise it's all just a check the box conversation. A lot of times we go to training and, we're learning these concepts, a lot of which we probably already know. but it's more about how do we implement these things, right? How do we actually put them into action? It's one thing to retain the information or to consume the information, but it's another thing to actually put it into place. This is a important conversation to have because it requires you to look at how you fit into the bigger, broader picture. Even like when I'm in these training sessions with teams, with what I'm doing, there comes this like innate desire to help people, right? In a real and genuine way. But what I feel like is that sometimes my message gets drowned out by all the noise and the chaos. And even though I know it's good, even though I know it is helpful and impactful, I also feel the weight and the heaviness of what comes around it. A lot of people are distracted. A lot of times it's being missed because there's so much else going on that people just don't catch it. They're not even able to see it. So by the time someone hears the things that I'm saying, even if they do, because sometimes they don't even get to see it or hear it, they probably feel like they don't even have the capacity to take on another thing mentally, like self improvement or do the work within themselves, because many of us are just trying to survive right now. And that's a real thing. Because let's be clear, elevating your life, getting to a better state mentally and emotionally, doing the things that you really want to do, going after your desires, having goals that you want to attain, and just doing things that are outside of the realm of what you're used to, that requires work. That requires change. That requires focus. That requires commitment and dedication. And I know that this feels overwhelming to people right now because it's overwhelming to me. People are tired. I'm tired. So I'm pretty sure you're tired too. If I'm being honest, people are just sick of self-help. They're like, I don't want to read another book. They're over the self-help books. They're over the self-help events. They're over the self-help podcast. And I get it. It's really exhausting. And I understand why people would feel like I don't even want to hear it. I know for me, I am constantly in a state of wanting to improve, wanting to be better, wanting to do better. It's just something that's in me. I can't help it. But there are days where I don't know if I'm coming or going. I don't know what is happening. I just can't even deal with anything. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. I literally tune out. And fortunately, I'm in an environment where I can do that. I can create my own peace. I can be in my little bubble. I don't have to really deal with all the things that are going on in the outside world if I don't want to. So I am in a situation where I don't have to allow in noise, but there are days and times where it just becomes really difficult and it becomes really heavy. And so I know that I'm not the only person feeling like that. And we all escape in different ways. Some of us doom scroll on social media. Some of us watch TV and get distracted from all the things that we could be doing. I'm not saying that that's wrong or right. I watch TV too. I like my reality TV shows. I like to indulge in whatever series because it's enjoyment for me. It makes me feel, again, tuned out, right? I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to worry about anything. I'm just watching this show. I'm submerging myself into a series. Some of us binge eat or eat things that we really shouldn't be eating, stress eat, right? And I believe that even work can be a distraction. It can be an escape. So I've done that too. I'm very familiar with that. I can work myself to death, work hours and hours because I don't have to deal with anything else. So it's for me a safe space, a safe place because it distracts me from having to look at anything else that I don't want to deal with. And so even though it's a positive thing, it's still a form of escape. The thing about it is we have to pay attention to these things and acknowledge that this is what's going on. I'm not saying to ignore it or to pretend that it's not happening. I think we have to acknowledge it, but I also think that it's real life, but we have to start thinking about, okay, how do we move outside of this? How do we move on to something that is more positive? Because the thing about escapism in the context of life is that at some point you have to deal with the real shit that comes to the surface. There's a lot of stuff coming to the surface right now for people. People are being forced to look at things in their life that they haven't had to look at before. People are being forced to make decisions that they haven't had to make before. Because yes, this is a time where it's like you got to choose a path. You're at a crossroads. So either you're going to go right, you're going to go straight, you're going to go left, but whatever you choose, it's going to change the trajectory of your life. And everybody is experiencing this right now. It's not a judgment. I'm not saying that to judge. I'm saying it from a place of relatability because I know how easy it is to ignore or to pretend like something isn't happening or to sweep it under the rug and not deal with it. So, yes, you may be escaping right now. And yes, things are overwhelming. And yes, it is hard and it's challenging. And real life is not great for everyone. Everyone is feeling it on some level, in some way. And so, yes, if you are escaping right now, then do it. But just know that you can't run and hide forever. You can't dodge the reality of the situation forever. You can't keep ignoring the things that keep coming up in your life. It's like when I was little, I used to have chores and I always had to keep my room clean and wash the dishes. And regardless of where I went or what I did, the moment I got back into that house, those dishes would be sitting right there waiting for me as soon as I got home. And I had to come home eventually. So whatever you're pushing down, whatever you are ignoring, whatever you're not trying to deal with right now, it's going to come to the surface. And I'm not forcing you or pushing you. I'm just telling you that at some point, something's got to give. At some point, we have to talk about the elephant in the room. And the elephant in the room is you. And I believe all the chaos in the world right now is an opportunity to tear down the dysfunctional systems, dismantle all these old beliefs and these behaviors that just don't make any sense anymore, and to shatter the foundations that were built because they weren't built on solid ground. There's a lot of things crumbling to the ground right now, and rightfully so, because it needs to crumble. Because the way that we are moving, it just isn't working anymore. You can see it, you can feel the energy, you can sense that things are moving and they are moving quickly and it's time to act. It's the same within you. It's time to start questioning and to look at all those irritations, all those triggers that keep coming to the surface. Ask yourself, why is this coming to the surface? What do I need to look at? What is this telling me? What am I learning in the situation? We don't have time and space to keep pretending that it's not happening. You're being forced to look at it for a reason. So yes, you can escape as you need to. And if you don't want to deal with it in the moment, no problem. But what do you need to look at? It may be time to start paying attention, opening up your eyes to see what is it that I need to work on here. Maybe it's toxic relationships. Maybe it's people pleasing. You're going out of your way to be the yes person when you know that you really need to be saying no. It's doing the same habits over and over and over again, even though they do not serve any positive purpose anymore in your life and they're making you miserable. So some of this that's going on is not even anything around you. It's you. It's you not making a different choice. It's you not making a different decision. And I know that may be hard for some people to hear. And I understand if you're not ready to go down that road or if you're not ready to look at it, but eventually you're going to have to look at it because it's time to start rebuilding from a new foundation. But to do that, you have to do the work to dismantle and tear down what's already there that does not work. It's like you can't build on top of a shitty foundation. You can't build a house on sand. You can't lay down wood floors on an uneven floor. You have to do the work to level things out. That's really what this is. I know that this may sound like a rant and maybe this message does not resonate with everyone, and that's okay. But for those who it's meant for, they will get it. And for those who it's not meant for, that's okay too. It just may not be your time to get it or to understand. But I just want to communicate that I get it. I understand. I am not oblivious to what's going on. I'm not immune to what's going on. It's impacting all of us. Even the people out here who are serving and helping people in a coaching capacity or in a consulting capacity or whatever service that you provide, assistance you provide, everybody's feeling it. But if you are escaping, go ahead and do that right now if that's what you need to do. But also know that at some point in some time, you're going to have to look at what's really going on in your life and start making decisions and changes if you want to see something different. That's just what it is. That is like the real E True Hollywood Story answer. I don't have the perfect resolution to this. I don't know all of what to do or what to say. And this is something that I work on too. I'm dealing with myself. Like it's a personal thing. That's why I can speak to it. But it can feel discouraging sometimes when you are really trying to focus on what's good and what you can move towards, and you have all the negativity around you and all the things happening. it could be really challenging to stay focused on that. But I want you to think about what else you need to do to get into a good mental state. I think we all need a mental break from things that are going on. We should not have to force ourselves to look at something we're not ready to look at, because you have to protect your mental sanity. You have to remain healthy and sane. And however you need to do that, I encourage you to do that. My only suggestion is to not stay in that place too long. Do not be in this phase of escape. Do not be in this checked out mode for too long, because it's hard to come back from that. It'll start to impact your real life, your real relationships, and all the progress that you've made so far. And at the very least, I hope that in hearing this message and listening to this episode, that I've at least planted some seeds of thought, maybe some curiosity to see how escapism is affecting you right now and what you can do to move forward, and understanding when you are ready to make that change. So that's all I have for now. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please leave me a comment and tell me what you think.